Good morning, everyone. Good morning. I'm a little under the weather. I am a little under the weather. We're going to be talking in just a minute. And if you all would stay put for a second, I'll be right there. I got to get me something to drink. And my new go-to in any time is getting some water in me. I hope everybody's having a good morning. The week's getting there. The week is getting there, and I want to talk about what the projected threats are here in the United States. A lot of people believe that things can't happen in our backyard. So we're going to give people just a minute because I'm about 4 minutes early. I am taking this information from what the government is telling us is our biggest threats. And I have to agree with them in a lot of ways. These are probably some of our worst threats in the United States right now. A lot of people get really, really worried when it comes to prepping, and they think about doomsday preppers and conspiracy nuts and things like that. I really have taken this channel. We do have conspiracy night. It's a lot of fun, but I've taken this channel in a different direction because prepping in the real world is about an insurance policy, about being able to be ready in case of a major disaster like civil unrest. So we're going to talk about some news articles this morning and kind of go from there. The biggest thing I want to bring up is people always think that things can't happen in their backyard. Will they and can they? That's the big question, is can these threats happen in our own backyard? Each year, the Office of Intelligence and Analytics do a Homeland threat assessment. The one for 2025 doesn't look too great for the United States. And the biggest thing coming out of the executive summary, hey country prepper, what's going on with you? First one in here this morning. But I want to talk about, prepping doesn't have to be scary, but we also have to be prepared because there's so many things going on. So coming out of the assessment for 2025, the first thing at the very top of the list is public safety and security. You all might remember last year, there was a situation at a 4th of July parade where somebody was shooting down into the crowd. We have all these different situations popping up. I think that going to like arenas and things like that could be very scary to people, even going to churches because of what's happening in the United States. Coming in from Homeland Security, public safety and security over the next year, they believe the terrorism threat will be bigger than ever. It's going to remain very, very high. And they're really concerned about factors this last year, including violent extremist responses to domestic, social, political developments, especially in the 2024 election cycle. And I think a lot of us here in the United States braced for something really, really big, but we haven't had the total transition yet. So could something pop off? Possibly. In addition, the next thing that is a big threat is the border and immigration security. We all have seen the border at its weakest points, but what's been going on at the border has been going on for decades. Decades. It's just that it got to the point that it was overran. And so I think a lot of people go, well, off the wall. The border is like a disaster. It's been a disaster. Will it get under control under the new administration? They have a big, big project ahead of them to get that under control. We have to look at this on the other hand as well, though. Shipping out millions of undocumented workers from the United States, what would that entail? First of all, how much manpower? Second of all, what would happen if we did deport all of them? Most of the Latino people that I've met in the United States are hardworking people that want better for their families. Maybe they came here undocumented. Maybe they did. Maybe they didn't. When I had my company in Denver, I had 21 people working. and 19 of them were Latino. I had no idea that they were illegal, and that's being honest. They brought social security cards and driver's license. Everything looked legit until I got the report from the IRS when I reported their taxes. They sent me back a notice of all the illegals, and pretty much all of them were illegal. They had social security cards and they had driver's license. So it's really hard as an employer also to differentiate, is this person legal? Is this person illegal? But if we shipped all those people back that are undocumented, we know that we have a very, very lazy generation of people, to put it lightly, that don't want to work. They just don't want to work. You know what I mean, country proper? They don't want to work. They have their hand out. They're waiting for their cell phone. They're waiting for their Obama health care. They're waiting for housing. They're waiting for food stamps. And we have to imagine what would occur in the fields, in the production plants, in the chicken processing plants, in the sugar beet plants that are plentiful here in Colorado. If we took and raided and took all these illegal undocumented workers back to their country, would this country be able to sustain where it's at? I mean, I think it would be a huge, huge problem. Um, I know I'm not as fancy dancy as I used to be, and some of my live streams will be a little more fancier, but one thing that we were talking about yesterday is the critical infrastructure security that domestic and foreign people certainly will continue to threaten the integrity of our critical systems. And you got to imagine if they actually struck those systems, such as we've seen the medical breach. Good morning. No, not pumpkin. Um, if we've seen those breaches actually occur and happen, right? We have seen cyber attacks on the hilt there over the top. And then we've also seen the criminal hacktivists that like are really going after these infrastructure systems, such as Social Security, which we all know is breached. We've had so many different ones that have been breached, including our actual grid. And so that's like a huge thing too. We also have the economic security of the United States. I know that everybody is really excited because they've seen this rally of Bitcoin, uh, gold, stocks, all these things because Trump has been elected. I think that without a gold backed currency, I think we're really, really in big trouble. And the economic security of the United States is so shaky with everything that's happening. You can go to the 2025, right? The 2025 Homeland Security Threat Assessment. It's a really informative report. It has a lot of information about what the threats are, why they feel those threats are coming in 2025, and many of them are carried over from 2022, 2019. Um, One thing I think that is the biggest thing for all of us as preppers is public safety and security. We know that the drug epidemic here in the United States is huge. It's over the top. And when we really look at it in depth, that's when we realize that our border is a huge, huge issue. The other thing that terrorism, looking into 2025, the threat of violence from US based violent extremists, including the DVEs, who are motivated by various ideologies and FTOs, they actually grew homegrown violent extremists. And this threat is going to continue to be characterized primarily by lone offenders or small cells motivated to violence by a combination of racial, religious, gender, or anti government grievances, conspiracy theories, and personalized factors. I think that when I was reading this report, between September 2023 and July of 2024, the DBEs were really driven by these anti-government racial or gender related motivations. And they've had 4 attacks because of them in the homeland. One of them, which resulted in death, U.S. law enforcement did disrupt at least 7 additional DVE pilots and plots. But 2 of those HBE attacks, they were partially motivated by the Israel Hamas conflict, also occurred during that time. And over the last year, the DVEs, the efforts have focused largely on a range of targets, including ethnic and religious minorities, government officials, and ideological opponents. I think that many people are seeing this in universities, they're seeing it in schools, places of worship. It's a sad day in America. It's a really sad day in America when you have to have security guards at a place of worship. But that is where America has fallen to. I think that we will see more and more of these sectors become wake up and become awake. There's going to be targeted violence around the United States, and I'm wondering if we'll have a mass casualty that will really shake each and every one of us in our own backyards. Because so many people think that these kind of things will not happen in the United States because they're small, little targeted sectors. Yeah, knockout. I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it. The United States has become really a boiling point of controversy, a boiling point of division, and we're going to see this more and more. Now, in this 2025 assessment report, they are talking about chemical, biological, radiological, and nuclear cbrn threats to endure. They're actually saying that maybe we will end up with a dirty bomb. And this is coming in from Homeland Security. They expect that threat actors will continue to explore emerging and advanced technologies to aid their efforts in developing and carrying out chemical and biological attacks. Over the last year, foreign and domestic extremists online expressed interest in using DNA modification to develop biological weapons to target specific places. No, I don't think so either, knockout. And I think it's at a point. Um, I don't think so. I don't think so, Rainy Girl. I appreciate your input, but I don't think so. I think that we are going to have more and more of these sectors pop up throughout President Trump's 4 years. I think that they may become very extreme. And the other thing is the illegal drug epidemic in the United States. You know, they just had a big, huge drug bust with millions and millions of dollars worth of drugs at the border. And the sad thing is these drugs are coming into the United States and they're actually killing. They're killing our youth. They're stripping them of the American dream and of the freedoms that we all want. You think that we'll have law and order. I think that we'll have disruption and chaos. Um, and the reason I believe that, I appreciate your input, and it's always nice to hear from different places. But the border, that was the southern border that all those drugs just came in. That was reported by American Military News on the border report. But yes, I did see the new border Caesar. That could be very, very interesting what happens. I think that the border has been an issue forever, but I don't think that the solution is rounding up every undocumented worker in the United States. Because if we do that, we are going to have a huge economical problem. Because these people that work in the fields, that work in the factories, if we ship them all back, okay, and this is from research, if we ship them all back, can you imagine what will happen to those industries such as poultry, farming, the vegetable fields, the fruit? People, Americans don't want to work those jobs, and that's just the truth. I mean, I remember when I was younger, my older brother, he went out and he did corn detasseling by hand. That's a hard ass job. Americans don't want those hard ass manual labor jobs. Most Americans, especially the younger generation, will not. They will not do it. And I think that the more and more that we see these things, we're going to realize how this country is in so much trouble. In this last 2 weeks, I've never seen so many people come on my channel and just be straight out racist. And I don't care if you're black, white, Puerto Rican, Mexico. Mexican, if you're from Asia, I don't care where you're from, good people are good people. And this is the melting pot of the world. And so I think that the more we see this, the more we should realize that our way of life here in the United States is definitely under attack. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I mean, the thing is, Phil, I totally agree with you. It's going to be an issue. It's been an issue, and a fence or a wall is not going to stop the issue. We need to have better border control by getting in tune with what's happening in Mexico and in Canada, because don't only think that this situation is coming from Mexico. It is coming from Canada. There's reports out there left and right. Being prior military, I look at the reports, not just from the southern border, because that's where they want everyone to look. We have to look at what's happening in other parts of the country. And that is happening all over this country. The bad thing is that our resources, we can't handle more and more people coming in here and getting on the welfare system. Welfare, in my opinion, needs to be reformed. It doesn't need to be a generational thing, year in and year out, generation after generation. Welfare was originally started to give people a helping hand, and most people were embarrassed to be on welfare. Now, in the United States, they just want a handout. Yeah, yeah, Rainy Girl. What part of Canada are you in? Hello, Carmen. So, prepping is America's fault for being a desirable and decent country. God bless the American people. I know most are decent, lovely people. They're just worried. And we are. Yeah, Tommy. It does. And it needs to be reformed. Vancouver. Columbia, page 4270. Honor of the Crown. Both the plaintiff and British Columbia advanced arguments on the subject of breach of fiduciary duty. Thank you, Sebastian, for dropping that. I'll definitely read it. Thank you for being here from Canada. Good morning, Carmen. I think that one of the biggest things and one thing that people worry about when they see prepping channels is I don't like to just bring the news. Yes, it's good to be in the loop. It's good to look at what's happening around us. But it's really good and important to run scenarios through your head, right? Seems 50% want to hand out. I think the percentage, Tommy Tom, is higher than that. Um, I think the United States, we have become a very, very consumer nation and gimme, gimme, gimme. And that's a sad thing. But, does prepping have to be scary? Does prepping have to rule your life day in and day out? Prepping is a way of life. I mean, it really is. Yeah. Well, and I don't believe anybody needs to be in a cage. I don't believe that families need to be separated. What we need to do is figure out communications with our north and our south neighbors to curtail, stop, slow down, have a better process of letting people come in. I do know this from employing many Latino workers that it's very hard for them to come over. Just like bringing a Filipina over here to the United States, it's not an easy process. Right now, I'm in the process of bringing my fiance over here, and it's a very long, drawn out process where other countries can just bebop on in. Um, I think the main thing I was reading about letting some of these populations in is they don't want them to become a product of the government, a welfare system person, right? I got a spot in the mountains that nobody can get to, freshwater and fish. And I don't blame you. I mean, I used to live in the Ozarks in the forest. I now live in Colorado because of my family. I think it's really important to realize that prepping is really truly a way of life. And prepping gives you a peace of mind and insurance policy. It does not have to be scary. About 3 years ago, when my channel really blew up before it got taken down, literally, somebody told me you have to scare people to get them to prep. I don't want to have to scare people, but what I do want you to do is to smash that thumb up there atop of me right there, smash it, and help me get this word out. I believe that down to earth prepping is probably the most important thing we can do. And I am going to show you a real simple way. I had a lot of people on here yesterday, and they were really concerned that they can't afford to prep. And I can understand that. because things in the United States and around the world are out of control when it comes to how much things are costing. And then we see the breakdown of our food chain and that type of thing, and it gets more and more worrisome, especially for our elders and people who are on disability. Yeah, and well, and I think it's really important, Phil, for people to find a MAG, a mutual assistance group. And I think that people in the mountains and in the forest, like even in the Ozarks, I have a spot there in the Ozarks I can go back to any day I want to. Yes, it's an 11, 12-hour trip, but it's really, really important to be able to have some some people that are on your team that you know truly are on your team that are going to help you. Your dad told you when you were 11 and asked him why we were not on welfare. My friend at school told me how they got everything for free. My dad looked at me and said, I work for a living. Amen to that, Carmen. And we need to instill that back into our kids and our future generations. That's really important. Look up the WIS book. No, it's not hard to prep in a city. And Tommy, I think the most important thing, honestly, that you can do is learn skills. In a city, you're going to have bigger things to maneuver out of. So, learning the gray man theory would be very, very important to your situation when you are in a city, going with the flow, being able to move and maneuver where people don't find you suspicious. And I'll give you an example. Say you go to Mexico and you wear every piece of gold that you have, and maybe you even go to the pawn shop and buy some more because you're just a flashy dashy, right? And when you get down there, everybody's looking at you. You've just made yourself a target. And that can happen in any kind of environment, especially like when it comes to the gray man theory. The gray man theory is about blending in. It's originally was a military theory, and it's camo, it's like that type of thing. But in a regular setting, we're not going to be wearing camo. What we're going to be wearing is maybe you go out and it's an economical collapse. People are frantic. If you go out there and you look comfy dumpy and you walk out in your neighborhood and everybody else is panicked and you're just like, everything's fine here because I know I have food, I know I've prepped, you're going to put a target on your back. So when those types of situations happen, it's best to actually scream, act like everybody else is acting, and then remove yourself from the situation. The gray man theory is really about blending in and being a chameleon in any type of environmental situation, be it if it's war, nuclear, community unrest, civil unrest, martial law, whatever it may be. It's really about blending in and then removing yourself from the situation as quick as possible. And yeah, exactly. Being able to adapt to your surroundings is really, really important. I want to talk about one thing that I think is really important to each and every person. And I swear there must have been 15 people on here yesterday that said, there's no way off the wall I can ever prep. Everyone can prep, no matter what. The easiest thing that I did is, you can buy a first aid kit, very, very expensive. Yesterday we talked more about water. I want to talk about first aid because first aid gets kind of overseen on a lot of prepping channels as well as getting healthy. The first thing that you should address in the prepping community, period, is your teeth. And I'm going to tell you why. You can go septic, you can get a bad infection, and if there's not a dentist available, you're screwed. What in the heck is this? The Quest. Hey, we are contacting you about your vehicle's extended warranty. First of all, Quest, who are you? I don't know. But I'm removing you as a mod because I don't know who you are. And not only do I not know who you are, you're trying to be disrupting. So we'll just go ahead and remove your stupid comments. Anyway, so what I want to talk about today really is first aid kits. So one thing that you can do to have a first aid kit and make a first aid kit is just get you a plastic tote. Go around your home. Get extra medicine. Say you have 2 bottles of Tylenol. Say you have 3 packages of Band-Aids. Say you have 4 ACE bandages. Whatever it is go ahead and start putting them in a tote. And I'm going to show you mine. This is one of mine. because I've been prepping for quite a while since I got the break in Los Angeles. So I think the most important thing is to keep going. Yeah, I wouldn't blame you on antibiotic hoarding. I wouldn't go over the top. Small, compact, easy to maneuver, easy to throw in your car and get out of town, right? That's really, really important. Learning the skills, go to American Red Cross, go to a local high school, go to a health class, work out a little bit more, park your car a little further in the parking lot, walk a little further. Those things will come in time if we have a total shit show in the United States. I don't think it's if we're going to have one. I think it's when we're going to have one. A lot of people also, before I get into the first aid a little bit more, they always say that it won't happen here. September 11th happened here. Pearl Harbor happened here. We've had these little sectors of violence all across the United States. And I think it's going to happen more and more, especially when you read the report. Yeah, teeth is major. 5-gallon buckets. Y'all got to excuse me. Maybe even some Kleenex. Toilet paper is unnecessary. I'll just tell you now. After traveling to the Philippines, it's unnecessary. Let's talk about first aid, though, for the second portion of the show. If you missed the very beginning, I did talk about the projected threats coming in from Homeland Security for 2025, which don't look good. So I have just a plastic tote, and I'm going to show you. I just got a plastic tote, and the thing is when you open it, I have added natural and other types of medicine. Now, one thing I do want to talk about is that I believe in natural healing, but I also have a torn meniscus, right? So I have several items to help myself in case of a really, really bad situation. One, because I did live in the forest, is I do have a snake and insect bite kit. They're not very expensive, but you just keep adding to your bucket as you go. You could use a 5-gallon bucket, which would probably even be better than this that you said, Rainy Girl, because a 5-gallon bucket, you could just pick up the handle and go. I have several of those filled with rice, filled with pasta. And so that's kind of where my 5-gallon buckets go. But this one's handy dandy. It's got a handle right here in the front too, so I can carry it. But a snake and insect bite kit, depending on where you live, could be really not only a good thing to have, but also you may not need it, but somebody else may need it. And bartering and being able to barter with items like this is really important. Another thing I want to talk about is natural. This is a great thing to have if you have a major toothache, is whole cloves. Whole cloves are really good. You can just pack a tooth. If you're having an abscess or a major toothache, pack it with whole cloves, and that is a great, great pain reducer. One thing that I started doing about 1.5 years ago is using turmeric. Turmeric has a lot of natural healing properties. I have powder and I have pills. That's the powder and there's the pills. I try to actually take these every day because they're really, health-wise, they're really, really great. I mean, they just have so many benefits. I always have bandanas. You can use a bandana for a tourniquet. You can use a bandana as a filter for water. There's a lot of things you can use a bandana for. If you're super hot, you can use it as a hat. I mean, there's just so many things, right? I do have a couple braces in here for a wrist and for a knee. One big thing I want to talk about is you can pick up these little tiny first aid kits. But what I turned them into is I actually fill them up with these little packs of medicine. Different kinds. One thing I will say to everyone is get something for your stomach. The jars, I'll probably put them into plastic bags because, yes, I'll talk about that jar shit in just a minute, Tommy. Jars are heavy, they're bulky, and breakable. And jars can break, and then you have glass and all that bullshit. This one is actually from my kitchen because I cook with it, right? And then this one right here is actually plastic. That one's plastic. But I like the plastic bag thing. And what I did is I kind of went around the last few years and have collected things just around my house that I had extras of, like burn relief, Threw in a package of Kleenex. I have a whole bag. I picked these up at an auction. I have a whole bag of scissors, cleaners, tweezers, things like that. Definitely important to have burn cream. Definitely important to have some pain release reliever. This stuff, if you've never used it, I will say this much. This stuff is awesome if you have arthritis, joint pain, if you get hurt. But I do believe in the old ways. And one go-to that's been around forever is Vicks Vapor Rub. Everybody has to do their own research and come up with their own kit. Um, it just really depends. But you can see here, I got a lot of packets, and I think vitamin C should be one of your go-tos for sure. You definitely need to have vitamin C. I've had eye problems in the past, and I got this extra, so I just threw it in here. Sometimes people talk about medicine expiring and things like that. Now, this one is all full of tape, gauze pads, antibacterial, more gauze pads, freebies from the dentist, right? More free. Those were not free. I also have a torn meniscus, so I always keep icy hot, biofreeze, something like that, which is really important. These are awesome. These are from True Medic. These are super skins. These are a great bandage. These are a real, I mean, I wish that I had about 20, 30 packs of these. I don't. Because they can be used in so many different scenarios. Also, I do have from Ready Hour, which I am an affiliate. I'm not doing a commercial, though. You know, if you want to help the channel, you can go to the channel and you can buy them from there. But blood clot powder, in case somebody would get shot or hurt. It actually gives you the directions. These are 3 packs. So that's really important. But you can also do it on the cheap, you know, some freaking Band-Aids, some freaking tape. You know, it's just as you collect your bag, pain relieving gel patch. I really try to make I've tried to make this box as versatile as possible, because you never know what's going to happen. Yes, I have a tourniquet. Yes, I even have a blood pressure meter. I have a stethoscope. That's only one of my boxes. I have another one in my garage. And y'all have to excuse me. I'm sorry. I've been, since last night, I caught some kind of cold. And it happens. But I think it's really important for people not to get scared, but to actually get prepared. And I think down-to-earth real prepping in the real world is not sitting at home and going, oh my God, this is going to be like Mad Max. This is going to be like doomsday preppers. People go over the top with prepping, and you have to still live life. I just did a wonderful trip in August. I went to the Philippines, and people here on my channel were actually very concerned. They were like, no, don't go off the wall. You know, it could break out. Anything could break out any day, anywhere. And the thing is without doing the legwork, without enjoying life, prepping should not be stressful and full of anxiety. And that's just my take on it. It really should not be. If you're really living the prepared lifestyle, you should be happy, go forward, do things on a daily basis to give you that little insurance policy, to make things better. And that's really what prepping is all about. One thing I'd like to do, and I'd like to tell you all about, is this is the reboot list here on this channel. The reboot list has a lot of demos that I did when I lived in the forest, and knowledge is power. Learning the skills is power, because the gear's going to break down, the medicine's going to run out, all those things are going to happen. But if you have the knowledge to reuse, repurpose things, it makes a hell of a difference. It really makes a hell of a difference. And, you know, plant your own garden, become self-sufficient. That's really, really important. If you'd all smash that thumb, I'd really appreciate it. I want to show you one of the videos. We watched one yesterday, and I'd like to show you another one today. I'm not being fancy-dancy like I used to be. Sunday night, we're going to have trivia. Trivia is really down to earth, and it's really for new preppers or people that are thinking that maybe I should prep. It's a great way. It's a great way to learn skills and knowledge. And skills and knowledge will bring you through. Um, this one is called Survival. It's up to you. And I'd like to show it. And it's a 6-minute video. If you have any questions, go ahead and drop them in the chat. I'll do my best to answer. And we're not being fancy dancy. We're just being down to earth. I made this approximately 1 year ago. I hope you enjoy it. Hey everybody, it's OTWP. So I want to talk a little bit about water filtration, what we're doing here in the little cabin. Because there's a lot of things you can do and a lot of people really just don't get it. So this is one of the first things we do, pure water system. And it's very easy because you just attach it right here. And there you'll be, I'm going to go into the pure a little bit, but it's really nice because it's adaptable, it's easy. And I think the most important thing is when you're thinking about water is to have something that is small. Then we also have some RO systems and things like that. I'm going to show a whole bunch of different things on this video. So this is the first one. And the nice thing is when it goes bad, as you see here, so you just turn it on right there. You put that down. It will actually flash red. Y'all can see it or not, but it'll flash red right here on this bar. So, morning, Georgie. And it brings it over, puts it through the system. When this flashes red, then you know it's time to change the filter. So that's easy. Then what you do is you just come over here to the back of it, and all you do is unscrew it, right? And I'm going to be replacing this, so you just unscrew that, which makes it real easy, and pop it out. But I think water is really important, so you just pop it out just like that, and then this filter just comes out just like that. And I can actually tell by the way this feels right now, it is time to replace it. It actually will pick up a lot of contaminants. Now we're waiting for those to come in today. So I got to put that back in there, otherwise dragon flies will be having a fit. Like, why'd you take it apart when you know they're not in yet? But it's super simple to replace. Now the other thing I want to show you is something else that we do. And we have a lot of different, oh, look at her garlic, y'all, look. Oh. She got it growing. Garlic growing. There's a lot of different ways that you can purify water and take care of these things. But we're also very, very conservative on water, right? We're super conservative. So hold on 1 minute, and I'm going to show you some other things. Yes, I'm taking you in the bathroom with me. The bathroom is almost done. Y'all want to see a sneak. So we had stuff on the floor. We take it up, put up here. The ceiling is done. A lot of things happening in the bathroom. A lot of organization things. I still, folks, have not been able to get this. I'm going to have to go to Springfield and get the last load. But it turned out pretty nice. Got some little doodads I got to do in here. But this is the other thing is the toilet. We changed out the toilet to a high efficiency toilet. Then on top of that, hold on, I'm going to show you. You can buy these for about $5 to $8. So it's a bladder. You fill that bladder with water, and what it does is it's going to push the other water down. So you're going to use less water inside your toilet. Okay, I want to take a little break and talk about something about water. So when I was living in the cabin in the Ozarks, we had no running water. Okay, so we didn't just flip on the faucet and have water. That's not how it works. And in a real SHTF situation, you're not going to be able to have water just run out of your faucet. So I want to name a couple places, and maybe you in the chat can name a few too. If all the water stopped in your home, where would you look for water when you run out? Anybody? Anybody want to put some comments or some ideas or suggestions? 1, your water heater. 2, the pipes underneath your house. 3, vegetables such as watermelon, tomatoes have a large. They have a lot of. Dude, I think you're on the wrong channel. Anyway, they have a large place to get water. also, I know it might sound disgusting to many, but you can actually get water from your back of your toilet. The water, there's a difference when you're traveling on an RV between black water and gray water. Black water is your sewage water, your nasty water. Your gray water can be reused and repurposed, such as you take the water and you only have a little bit of water left. You can actually take that water, right, and use it for cleaning, doing pots and pans and stuff like that. That's really important because water is a necessity, just like I believe first aid and learning how to forage off the land is important. One thing that we talked about yesterday is about the having water and people and states saying it's illegal. Is it illegal? In many states it is. But can you still collect water? If you look at the fine print of the laws that are being passed in different states, you can. You really can still collect rainwater, but it's only, hello, Pedro, it's only about 55 gallons per person. That's it. Otherwise, you could end up in trouble. One thing to think about with winter coming, and I want to mention a few different things that are just kind of here on the reboot list, is trench foot. A lot of people know it as athlete's foot, but it's even more extreme. So if you go into the reboot playlist and watch that, you'll also be able to see some of those videos that I'm talking about. Let's see. I think this is the fun video. And if it is, this is somebody asked me about that yesterday. So we're gonna watch this right now, and then I hope to see y'all at trivia Sunday night. And check this out. I think you'll all enjoy this little prepping hack. All right, everybody. Welcome to the fire table once again. We're at the fire table that I built. And, of course, always for safety, you always want to have a fire extinguisher, okay? Always have your fire extinguisher, no matter what. Now, let's get into it. I'm going to show you something. This is an emergency situation, you know. Let's get it aimed down there. This is a great hack. Watch, everybody. Now, I just went and collected up a little tinder, right, just a little bit. I'm going to move this one out of the way. If we can get that to stand up there. This is just my makeshift little fire table to do demos and stuff on. So all you need is some little tinder. Throw it in there. Break it up. Get you a piece of household steel wool. Thank you, Carmen. These have a special watch this, Pedro. This steel wool does. And so what I'm about to show you will start a fire real quick for you. Now, of course, be smart about it. You know, do some safety precautions. Here's a little cardboard. We'll just really get it ignited. Now, you could do this on a big level, right? You could do this. Yeah, it was, George. It was at the cabin. You know, whatever I wanted. So you just put it there. These are fire safety bricks. Take that. Just stretch it out a little bit over the top of it. I'm going to use a couple twigs to hold it down. Just like that. And the other thing you need is just a simple, ordinary, compact, small 9-volt battery. All right, I'm going to drop you all down so you can see it real close up. You ready? This is all you got to do. You take the two pieces and you just hold them right there. And there you go. It's that simple. Something to think about, though, when you're starting a fire like this, don't accidentally carry the battery and the steel wool together or ever store them together, because you will have a fire. You will have a fire. Now, it only takes 3 things to get fire going. Oxygen, right? There we go. There we go. And you can see underneath there, it's still burning. Oxygen, heat, and fuel, folks. We're gonna give it a little hey, coffee first. Ready? Here you go. Don't throw out those used 9-volt batteries, everyone. And you can relight it and relight it. We talked about some fire demos yesterday, too. And don't keep it in your pocket. No, George. This is a great camping hack too. Great in a preparedness situation, a survival situation. You know, a lot of people have steel wool. And it does take practice. You know, I'm not going to say I'm perfect at anything, but what I'm going to say is that anybody can do
Everybody.
it if you
So all you
just
do is
keep
you take you some
practicing.
steel wool, put it in there,
Okay, you
take
watch
your
it. Here we
your
go.
9-volt battery, and get it going. Just like that. Both ends.
Yeah,
Have
dryer
to
lint,
get the
Cindy
steel
works
wool.
really, really, really well.
Usually it'll be enough of the chemical
I'll talk about
to
that in
get you a
just a
nice
minute.
little
Cindy,
fire
welcome
going.
to the chat.
Give it another little bump. So there you go. There, maybe that'll be enough to get it going.
So, yes, Cindy, I want to touch on that a minute. I'm not being fancy right now. I use OBS, I use StreamYard, I use all these different ones, but sometimes I just like going live from my phone and chilling. So, what I want to say about dryer lint, you know, that's another way, Cindy in Tennessee, welcome to the chat. And Pedro, welcome to the chat. Um, that's another way, folks, is that you can prep on the cheap. You know, so many people get wrapped up in can I prep? Can I prep? Can I do it? I can't do it. Instead of getting wrapped up, yeah, I am sick. I've been sick since yesterday, but I'll be all right. Anyway, the thing is anyone can prep. It takes patience. It takes not getting paranoid, and most importantly, to just keep doing the legwork. Anyone can prep. I think that people get scared of the word prepping because of doomsday prepping, right? It kind of put a foul taste in a lot of people's mouth. Like these people are just whacked out of their minds. We do have some fun here on Off the Wall Prepper. We have our own Chinese prepper that comes and visit us. It's my alter ego called Preppy. We have prepping trivia. We have faith get together. We have music nights. We have a lot of different things than most prepping channels. That's why I am off the wall. I think being well rounded in the prepping, in the view of prepping, from learning to forage, learning how to do skills, and then putting some real life prepping in your life is really, really important. If you missed the first part of the live, go back and check it out. I showed how I put a first aid kit together. Very reasonable, very easy, and very down to earth. I think the thing is, folks, is our motto here on Off the Wall Prepper is do the dang thing. That means that your prepping journey is different from mine. Each and every one of us has to do the legwork to get anywhere. It's like anything in life. You know, as a kid, you can barely crawl, then you're standing, then you're running. And it's the same thing on our prepping journey. Don't get caught up in all the catastrophes and all the negativity. Remember, prepping is a way of life. Prepping is a way that you have an insurance policy for you and your family. And even how do I create a battery? That's a whole nother live stream there. That's a whole nother live stream. I think the most important thing, folks, is to keep going no matter what and to stay prepared. You have to do the legwork. Oh, yeah, and we cannot forget the A-hole club. George, I need to have an A-hole club. Maybe we'll do that very, very soon. Um, I would, I want to have trivia this Sunday night if I can get it done. Otherwise, we may do a repeat from a few years ago so that it's all about prepping. It's very, very important. Knowledge is power. And to break the cycle of the tyrannical overreach that's happening around the country is that it's very, very important that you prep and that you prep on a daily basis. That's really important. From here in Colorado to wherever you're at, I'm sending you big prepper hugs that you continue on your prepping journey and that you're not scared. If you ever have a question or a concern, you can reach out to me at offthewallprepper@gmail.com. I will actually answer your emails. Getting America to a safe place to live and be a family. Lovely, we have a long way to go. Oh, Gronk, I prep for all different kinds of situations. Prepping is about having an insurance policy, not just food. It's having medical, it's learning to bushcraft. Go to my reboot list, you'll see all different demos I've done. Okay, George, I'll email. Send you a text message after this, George. I appreciate everyone being here. I really thank you. And I think the most important thing, folks, is whatever you do, don't give up, don't give in, and know that being spiritually and mentally centered is really, really important. I want to play one more video for all of you. And I hope that you like it. Just to kind of show you what we do here at Off the Wall, which is a little different than a lot of prepping channels where they only talk about news. I think there's a lot to prepping, but I want you to imagine this scenario. It could be your worst, absolute worst, worst fear come true. And we know that there's a lot of prepping conspiracies and that kind of thing. But let's watch this together. Everyone have a great day. God bless you from here in Colorado to wherever you're at. And keep on doing the thing. You old Americans are so spoiled, but you still are prepping. And Juan, I agree with you. America has, I'm going to touch on that that statement right there, Juan. America has not seen hard times. Too many people boo-hoo their whiny puff marshmallow asses. They have not seen hard times, including myself. But what I will tell you is that American people are resilient. We are fighters. And that's why we try to help so many other countries. But I think the tables are about to be turned on us, Juan. And I think that those tables have been shifting for many years. Being prior Navy, I think that we see the breakdown of our military. We see the breakdown of this great country with great opportunities. But I think you're right, Juan. Too many people in America take too many things for granted and they're spoiled rotten. And I've been spoiled myself. But what I will say is that the shift is changing. Someone else is going to be the top dog. And I know that's a hard pill for many people to freaking swallow, but it's the damn truth. The United States and every great nation around the world, that's the Ming Dynasty, the Aztecs, all of them have fallen. And the United States is going to fall. It's just when will it happen? I think that one, living within your means, two, being spiritually and mentally prepped is very, very important. Gunner, I'm prior military. Go back and watch the channel and you'll know. I mean, I can't sit here and say what kind of prepping stuff I have because I have a lot. But honestly, I lost a lot of it in a boat accident. Think about what you're asking me there, brother. Prepping stuff is more about the skills, bushcrafting, learning the skills, and living within your means so that you don't get stuck in the chaos when all shit breaks loose. And coffee first, then speak, you know you're the one that hit my damn boat, and it was really jacked up of you that you never paid me back. Watch this one because it could be your worst nightmare. And if it is, just think about this.
TWP. I want you to run a scenario through your head, and I want you to really think about this. I've talked about a lot of things over the last year.
Yeah, George, I did.
So put this what-if scenario in your head. I think it's very important. Some people, some crazy preppers, they think there possibly could be some weather manipulation. Some people think that there's plots and different things that could harm people when it comes to the water. So run this scenario in your head. You're in beautiful sunny California, or sunny Florida, or down in the South where it doesn't usually get too cold. And I've actually had people say this to me. Off OTWP, I appreciate you telling me about winter preps, but it'll never happen here because I live in Arizona. I live in California. It's always nice and beautiful. What if it wasn't? What if it wasn't nice and beautiful? What if the weather sucked? What if the power grid went down in California? What if it went down in Florida? What if it went down in warm states like Arizona? And then for some real weird, strange reason, there was some type of, I don't know if it's really true, but some type of weather manipulation, or what if it just started snowing and snowing and snowing some more until the grid couldn't take it and the grid went down? And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? There'd be so many people on the West Coast and the East Coast. I mean, this is just a what if, right? Just a what if scenario, just for fun. But what if they didn't have power? They didn't have heat. They didn't have gas. They didn't have any way to heat their home or keep their family warm. What would happen then? Huh? I don't know. Some people talk some really strange stuff on YouTube. I just thought I'd add to it. Maybe a good idea to run some weird what-if scenarios through your life, through your family, and think about them. Worst thing that could happen is that you could stay warm. The worst thing that could happen is you could stay alive. The worst thing that could happen is you and your family could make it. This is OTWP. What if? Run some of those scenarios in your own mind of things that you think won't happen to you, because they just might. Hey everybody, it's OTWP.
All right, I hope you all enjoyed that. If you'd like to see more videos like that, go to the reboot list. I thank all the new people that are here. I thank all the channel members that have joined for just a cup of coffee for 99 cents to help support our music and our trivia. And I thank each one of you that gave super chats yesterday. God bless you from here in Colorado. I don't do it for the money and I don't do it for the fame. I do it because I care about people. And I know that the shift is happening here in the United States. When it does occur, many people are going to be scared. Right now in the United States, over 35% of American people are prepping. Why? Because we see the shift. Why? Because we care about our neighbors. And it's going to take every American in the United States to stand shoulder to shoulder to fight the tyrannical overreach that's happening around the world. Will Trump be the wrench that put the big wrench in the whole system? Possibly. But what I do know is that prepping gives you peace of mind and gives you an insurance policy. And what if something does happen to you? It's really important. Instead of sitting in front of the TV all the time or the internet, take your kids out in the front yard. Play football with them. Go to the mountains. Go camping. Your husband doesn't want to prep? Tell him to go fishing and hunting. That's prepping. Prepping is a way of life. It's not just for today. You don't get prepper burnout. You keep on going, because without prepping, you, my friend, and myself, we may be in the shit show right in the middle of it. God bless you from here in Colorado to wherever you're at. Keep on going. Hooga's up in the house. I hope each and every one of you has a prosperous day. I will see you tomorrow morning at about 10 a.m. That's our new time, is about 10 a.m. Mountain Time. God bless you again. Do the dang thing. Don't give up and don't give in. Big prepper hugs to you. Hooga, and everyone new here. Thank you.